Hey yo, how you guys doing? Do me a favor before we get started on this whole thing, right? Subscribe, like, or hate, and share this video. Um, we're trying to get our numbers up. Thank you very much, and enjoy this broadcast. And real quick, right? While we're on this, the topic of image consultants, and again, this is not a stab at Kev, but I'm just going to show you how society has changed. Back when I was coming up in my younger days, an image consultant was your cool ass uncle, your cool ass neighbor, the guys at the barber shop, your athletic coaches, and in my case, it was the boxing coaches. Those were the guys who was the image consultants. Now again, there are professionals like our Kevin Samuels, because Kevin clearly knows what he's doing. You can't take that away from a man. But my point is, right? You can't put a whole lot of stock in everybody, because you got to take what they say with a grain of salt. Because, hey man, again, a dude might be an image consultant, right? But if he giving you his own, if he throwing his own personal twist on it, right? And his own personal twist may be unhealthy. Man, come on, man, it's tainted. You gotta take that with a grain of salt. Osha even has something he calls simp music on his platform. And even though I find the whole notion of simp music amusing, man, that's fucked up, man. I mean, just the whole idea of bashing someone for having a kid, I mean, that's real immature. And real quick, while we on the subject of Osha, I know I started out harassing Osha, but I will say this: I do have a new appreciation for Osha. I saw one of the many broadcasts that he was on, and Osha gave a heartfelt testimony about how he was on his grind when he was over there in Poland or wherever he was studying, and he was able to send money back to his family, and he was basically talking about breaking the cycle of poverty. And again, man, I respect that. I respect that Osha is a businessman and he's getting at his buck. But again, I can respect the man and even like the man, but I can dislike some of the things that they do, because once again, I don't have anything personal against any of you guys. This is all business, and it's opportunistic. You guys open yourself up for criticism when you talk a lot of that bullshit, and this is me criticizing you and building my platform. But Osha aside, Kevin, you got a lot of weirdos and creeps over there in your outfit, bro. I wouldn't want any of them being my next door neighbor, and I wouldn't want any of them related to me. Not too long ago, I was watching Alan Roger Curry, and I really was watching Obsidian, and I seen how incensed he became and screaming and hollering like a raving lunatic when him and Alan Roger Curry didn't agree on the notion of black women, But I mean, it's wild. Another thing I like to touch on when it comes to the do's and the don'ts and the dumb shit. When again, I feel the need to raise my hand and say, Hey, Kev, why are you telling them that dumb shit, man? Stop telling them that, man. And what I'm talking about is this notion of high value men want women as weak and submissive, or something like some bullshit you say. And first of all, I'm only using high value men because this is your terminology. You know, not so much because I believe in the notion of high value men, but you know, this is your terminology, so I'm gonna talk to you in your language. You know, again, I get some feedback from some of your people who agree with my message up until the point where I talk about alpha females, you know, or strong women, strong women, strong sisters, or alpha females. I'm gonna use alpha females for the sake of the conversation. Gentlemen who don't like the notion of being with a woman or having a woman as a peer. And again, it all goes to what you like. But for myself, the whole notion of having a woman as a peer always appealed to me, because first and foremost, I'm a goddamn tyrant. And I, for one, wouldn't have a woman who was weak and submissive, because I need someone to check me so I don't fall victim to my own madness. See, if you have a woman who is submissive in nature, guess what? Your whole train might run off the track, because if you don't have a person in your life in the form of a female where you respect her and her opinion, guess what? Now you're left at the mercy of your own judgment and your own madness. And if you are a mad scientist like myself, you actually need a woman whom you respect to say, hey babe, you gotta reel it in a little bit, babe. That's not the move that you make. Now again, keep in mind, that's how I feel. I, for one, like the notion of having a woman as a peer. Now, of course, any woman that I'm with, she knows that I'm the man and she's the woman, and she knows her lane. You know, that's not something that have to be discussed between sensible, intelligent adults. So, you know, again, a lot of the stuff that you guys say is not applicable. But now, in my opinion, right, let me tell you what you get, right? Any man. This is any man. High value man. A man making $15 an hour. Let me tell you what you get when you get a woman who is weak and submissive, and you cover all the bills, and you're the one that's floating everything. You get a chick that's a pet. That's what you get. You get a cat. You get a dog. You get a fish. That's what you get. You get a pet. And you know what happened a lot of times, Kevin? When you talk about these high value guys who like to have these women who are weak and submissive, and you got these high value guys who got these women living off of their dime, pretty much pets, they end up fucking the guy at the gym. They end up fucking the tennis coach or some other guy, or they end up fucking some cool guy like me. Because while you're out there earning all that money, Kevin, and cutting deals, because you always talk about how busy these those high value guys are, and they don't have a lot of time. But guess what, Kevin? What happens when you high value men are out there making all this money so you can take care of your wife because she's weak and submissive? They end up fucking guys like me, Kev. We the guys that end up spending the money, you know, and we're the guys that you end up getting a divorce over, Kevin. Because guess what? While you being this high value alpha male type of guy, you leave your woman at the mercy of guys like me who are quite astute at seducing the opposite sex. That's what happened when you got a woman who got too much time on her goddamn hands and you paying all the bills. That's the reason why, Kevin, old man, a lot of you guys are so angry and you feel like victims and you hate women because you have this macho ego. You have this macho ego. And a smart woman will play that macho ego against you. Let me tell you something about a lot of these sisters that's weak and submissive. A lot of these chicks that's weak and submissive, they're not as weak and submissive as you actually think they are. And a lot of times with a lot of these chicks that's weak and submissive, they're actually the underboss. Let me tell you something that I know, Kevin, that you don't. Because from what I gather, you've been married twice. I've been married twice too, sir. And I got almost 30 years of marriage under my belt. And that's not even counting all the other relationships that I had with women in between this time. Most of the times in most relationships, Kevin, between a man or a woman, the woman might start out weak and submissive, and the man starts out, but guess what happens as time goes along? It goes from saying, I want it over there, I want it over there, I want it over there, to, sir, where do you want it at? Hey man, go ask my wife. So don't tell me about these chicks that's weak and submissive, Kevin, because weak and submissive sisters got a lot of time on their hands to plot and scheme and figure out a way to occupy their time while high-value men are out here making all that money and taking care of them.